Welcome to the Enhanced Living Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Kruger. I believe that we all have within us the power to be everything that we were meant to be and so much more. This show is a weekly dose of practical and spiritual principles, strategies, tips, and ideas to help you grow into the best version of yourself. Here's to becoming exactly who you were meant to become. I've been called a human Swiss Army knife because I'm a TV host, inspirational speaker and coach, live event MC and DJ, certified yoga and Ayurveda teacher, functional fitness enthusiast, author, husband, and dad with a voracious appetite for knowledge, and I'll be sharing real talks with successful people from all walks of life, spiritual teachers and masters, and experts in many different fields. I'll also share my own perspective that I've gained from over 20 years of diligent meditation and spiritual work so we can all experience enhanced living. Are you ready to evolve? Let's do this. Happy Friday and welcome back to Enhanced Living. So a theme that I've been kind of dealing with in my life for the last, for a really long time, but I've been actually actively talking about this across social media recently, has been the concept of, is the universe a friendly place? Do you live in a friendly universe or do you live in an unfriendly universe? And I'm pretty sure that this concept was started by Albert Einstein and essentially then adopted by almost every single spiritual thinker I can think of. And I know Wayne Dyer was a huge proponent of, I live in a friendly universe and I manifest everything that I choose to manifest. And every time I set an intention, the world and the universe is conspiring in my favor. And I fully and 1000% agree with this. And of course, my wonderful and lovely and beautiful wife, Cherise, is a huge proponent of this as well. And she's on the show with me once again today. Thank you for coming, Cherise.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. And I talk to Jacob about it every night as we're doing our prayers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I really think that it's not even a think, it's a no. You get what you expect out of life. And we're going to kind of unpack that right now because both Cherise and myself have really experienced this legitimately from one end to the other. And we were literally just talking about this in the car with Jacob on the way home. We had gone for a drive and we were sitting there talking, and I was telling him that you get what you expect out of life. And so many people, they expect the worst. In fact, so many people are taught from a young age. I remember hearing this also, and I don't even remember where I heard it from, but it was like, expect the worst and hope for the best. And honestly, that is ridiculous because if you're expecting the worst, you're going to get the worst. It doesn't matter how much you're hoping for the best. If you're expecting it to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. And the fact of the matter is that when you expect the worst, you're going to get it. And then you're going to look at it and go, see, I knew I was right. It's always going to work out that way. And so you always expect the worst, and the worst always happens. And then every so often, your karma, your past experiences, or the things that you've done where you were feeling really, really great, that pokes through and you get something great and you're surprised. Well, what if it works on the opposite side as well? And it does. What if it works on the opposite side? And I think it does. It really does.
It absolutely does. I have a saying, and I think I got it from Wayne Dyer, as we were talking about Wayne Dyer, is best case scenario all the time. And I think there's nothing wrong with being prepared or being safety first, but always thinking best case scenario, going there first, letting that be what you always fall back on.
And it's really true. First of all, I can tell you straight away that that is Cherise's perspective. She is always a best case scenario person. Anytime I have a little bit of doubt creeping in, she's like, hey, stop. Best case scenario. And I'm like, yep, you're right. Best case scenario. And because it's within our nature for some reason, as people, as human beings, we like to commiserate on our negative things, all the bad stuff that happens. And I'm using air quotes, but you can't see it, obviously. All the bad stuff that happens, we want to share it. Oh, traffic was terrible today. Oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm tired. Oh, the kids kept me up for a week straight. Oh, whatever complainy stuff you have, if you look at it from a different perspective, you can be like, wow, I got a little extra time in the car today. I was able to finish my podcast episode. That was a really riveting episode that I was listening to. Or the kids kept me up great. I got to spend a little extra time with them. They needed a little extra tender loving care. So I was able to be there for my children. Oh, I'm tired. Hey, you know what? That means I've been really busy and productive lately. Maybe I'll just take a little extra time for some me time. So again, it's all about how you frame it.
Absolutely. I think I really learned this as a child too. I don't think I've ever even shared this with you, Adam, but when I was in junior high, I was so excited because I was getting ready to go to Great America, which is like Knott's Berry Farm or something like that. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, it's coming up. And I was so excited about it. But then I kept thinking, but what if I don't get to go? And I kept feeling like, what if this happens and then I don't get to go? And I was thinking of all these worst case scenarios, right? And so the week before I was about to go to Great America, I'm riding my bike to school. And I just so happened to intermingle with someone else's tire, flipped off my handlebars, and I broke my arm.
Oh my goodness.
So guess what? I couldn't go to Great America. And I thought to myself, wow, I was really spending a lot of energy thinking of how I wasn't going to be able to go because it was such like a big and exciting thing at the time. I think I was 12. I just couldn't wait to go. But instead of focusing on all the exciting things, I was focusing on what might happen where I couldn't be able to go. And honestly, that is what changed my life in terms of starting off the thinking of like, what if I think only best case scenario? What if I think of the positive and I focus on that? And yes, I did have amazing parents that were very positive and amazing, but you always have to make that choice yourself. You have to get to that position where I'm going to do this for myself. And that really changed the outlook on a lot of things for me.
First of all, I think that's amazing that you were able to kind of look at that at that age, because I know you were young when you broke your arm. And to be able to extrapolate the whole concept of, well, I was focusing on the negative and look what happened. I mean, I remember being a kid at that age and I had no concept of what my thoughts were doing versus what was going on in my life. Because I was just kind of on autopilot, and I had a really great childhood, to truth be told, from, I want to say like from birth until I was like 13 years old. My life was pretty peachy. I mean, I really thought I lived like the perfect life. I always got anything I wanted. I never really cared. Like I was just kind of like, I was like a happy-go-lucky. Well, there you go. I was a happy-go-lucky kid. I didn't ever think about the negative. I just kind of went about my business and did my thing. And of course, things worked out. And then obviously things shifted. So, but back to the concept or the idea behind today's little solo episode, I want to talk about this concept of the friendly universe, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question: do I live in a friendly universe? Or do I live in an unfriendly universe? And you really need to sit down and think about that, because your answer to that is going to determine your life, period, full stop. There's no other way. So you have to look at it and go, okay, well, does this universe veer towards life and towards abundance? Or does it veer towards death and lack? What does it veer towards? What do you see when you look around, the majority? I'm not talking about all people, because people's attitudes and egos and whatever can fluctuate in so many different ways. The same person that you see that's super happy and riding a high could be completely down in the dumps the very next day. So forget about people for a second. I want you to look around at the universe in general. And obviously, when I say the universe, I mean the planet, because obviously nobody's able to see the whole universe. But when you look around, do you see flowers blooming? Do you see nature expanding? Or do you see it constantly dying? What do you see? What makes the most sense to you? Does the universe seem friendly?
Yes, I agree. And I want to say too, if you're somebody that hasn't been thinking that way, or this is new to you in terms of the whole concept of the universe is friendly, start with little things. Ask for little signs. That's what I tell a lot of my clients that I'm working with, just ask to see like a feather, or ask to see a certain type of flower or a number, and just notice how that's showing up for you all the time. And then it just like it builds for you. Cause I think you can go from one extreme to the other, but I think it's nice to kind of give yourself a few steps to get there and to continually practice that.
Well, it's the same sort of thing about shifting your frequency. And I talked about this on a previous episode, where you can't go from despondent and completely depressed and down in the dumps to ecstatic. It's an energetic mismatch. So the same way that you can't do that, you have to be able to kind of go, okay, I believe that the universe at least is not unfriendly. Start there. Like, hey, maybe it's neutral. And then go, all right, well, let me look for ways that it is actually friendly and working out for me. Mm-hmm. And then build from that. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that the universe is a friendly place. And I know that anytime, it's so friendly, in fact, that it gives you exactly what you're thinking about and exactly what you're feeling. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say, oh, well, what you're thinking is bad, so let me hold off on that. I'm going to do something better for you. No, it's literally like a genie in a bottle saying your wish is my command. And our wish is our thoughts. It's our feelings. It's our energy. It's our vibration. So how are you vibrating? How are you raising that energy? I talked about it in a previous episode. Like I said, how are you raising your vibration so that you can match the frequency of what you really want to see manifest in your life?
Yes.
If you believe it is a friendly universe, then you will do whatever you can to raise your vibration to the point where you are in alignment with what you really want to see. And then you understand that the universe is a friendly place. And so it's going to give you exactly what you're thinking and feeling about. So it's about shifting your focus to that and accepting it. And then, of course, you have to let it go. You have to let go of the why, the how, the when. None of that should concern you. All you should be focused on is your intention, and then being aware of the little inspired thoughts, feelings, and actions that kind of come into play in your life, and follow those.
Yes. And I want to add to that because I'm always saying too, the universe has your back and it'll rise up to meet you always. And I want to give a little example. There's so many examples in my life where the universe has showed up for me always, always, always. And this one was actually way before I met you. I had my own place and I got hit with like a bunch of bills all at once. And instead of getting all down and like, how the heck am I going to pay for all of this? I just said, you know what? The universe has my back. I don't know how, I don't know where, but I am going to manifest all of this. So I'm in this space and, of course, the thoughts are creeping in for different things and I'm staying in this space. I get a call out of nowhere, someone I've never met before at the time, and I still am, but not as much. I was impersonating Britney Spears and I had pretty much just started doing that. And this person called because they were referred by the first person that I worked with. And they said, I really want to have you on this gig. I'm doing something. It's for my company and I want to have you there with me. And he goes, name your price. Name your price. And it was literally like, okay. And I named my price. I named exactly what I needed and a little bit more. And he was like, oh, no problem. And it was just like, boom, the universe has my back. And there's so many examples. I know we've had them as a couple. I've had them through my whole life. I know you have too. But it's amazing how if you truly trust and you believe that it can come from anywhere, it's not like you have to know exactly how it's going to happen and you trust, you know what? The universe is just going to bring it to me. I didn't know this person. And guess what? There it is.
It's because you believe it. And when you believe it, you will see it. If you believe it and really, really focus on that and then just let it go. You can't think about the time frame. You can't think about anything else. You just have to set the intention and move towards whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a home, whether it's food, it doesn't matter what it is. You will get exactly what you believe you will get. So if you believe that you're not worthy, guess what? You're not. And no one can change that but you. And if you believe you are worthy, then you are. It's really that simple. So I know I talked about last week how nobody really knows anything. Like nobody knows any better than you do. And that's really kind of what I'm driving at here is that we're powerful. Every single one of us has the power to affect and change our own lives. And every single one of us is going to get exactly what we expect. So just remember, the universe is friendly. Where you live, whatever it is, you can change it, you can enhance it, you can leave it, you can do whatever you choose to do. Just remember, whatever you expect will continue to show up for you in your life.
That's right. And if you're kind of wavering, like, should I trust that the universe is friendly? Flip the switch. Like you always say, flip the switch and just see what happens. Just go for it.
Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Enhanced Living Podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast player. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, feel free to reach me directly at enhancedliving.net. Thanks for listening.